Ad Lib Podcast. It's episode 22, made it to 22, and the gang is back. Franco, how are you?
The original Trinity is back. Who's the fun? No, the good, the bad, and the weird. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
But who's who?
Yes, basically, I've been kidnapped by Wes Anderson. He got wind of me talking smack to him. Then, because of his prison food, I got food poisoning. No. But basically, guys, so what happened is, like Andrea said last time, I was on a mental break. But what happened really was I was hospitalized because, let's say, I fell a bit off the edge. But thankfully, I'm happy to report the system has changed a lot. This was my third time hospitalized. And I have to give a huge thank you and shout out to the staff at the mixed admissions ward. Thank you, Nursing Officer Joe. Thank you, Kerry. Thank you to the Filipino staff. Magandang umaga. No, magandang gabi, magandang umaga, magandang hapon. So basically, because I also got to learn Filipino while I was there, so might as well. And also thank you, Lisa, from the Richmond Foundation. Thank you all, Andrea, for also being there as well. And that's it, guys. We're back, slowly, step by step, moving forward.
It's good to have you back.
And guys, if you're suffering from a mental health issue, do call Richmond Foundation. And I do suggest that if you need hospitalization, don't feel ashamed. Just actually, I'm really happy that there is at least a good system now at work.
Definitely.
Good to
And
hear.
Joe, how are you, my man?
I'm okay. I'm just really tired. I didn't get a very good night's sleep last night, and then being at work today didn't really do me any favors. Getting up early to go to the gym was also not a good idea on the little amount of sleep that I had, but you know what? We're here, and I'm trying my best.
Oh, man. I had to fit in this episode extra, because yesterday I went to watch Guardians of the Galaxy. And then I watched Succession afterwards, so I was like really tight after work. And today I had football.
Why didn't you sleep, Joe? Were you also kidnapped by Wes Anderson?
No, unfortunately, I didn't have the pleasure of being kidnapped by Wes Anderson. You know, I think, actually, because now the weather is actually starting to get a bit warmer in Scotland, and the greenery is starting to come out from the trees again, from, like, the dead skeletons that they were. And the flowers are starting to come out, and, like, I used to think my hay fever was bad in Malta just because of, like, the dust from the constant construction mixing with the pollen is not a good combination. But it turns out I just have pretty, like, bad hay fever anyway. So I think now that spring is actually starting to happen. Like, even just today when I got home from work to, like, get some air, I went with my girlfriend to the park because it was actually fairly warm, like 18 degrees and clear skies. And we went to the park, like, lie down, read a book, have a drink kind of thing. And nice. I came back home and, like, my throat's, like, really itchy and I'm, like, sucking everything into my nose. And I'm like, no, it's probably just hay fever. And I remember being quite hot last night as well. So it's a combination of just the season changing and my body not being capable of adapting, clearly.
We know you're hot, Joe, okay? We know you're hot. Even your girlfriend thinks so, Joe.
I have no
And how about you, Andrea? Our master.
Our gracious host.
I'm okay. Like I said, I had football just before this podcast. It was a good game. It was good to be back because I was sick for like 2 weeks, and I hadn't moved basically. But it's good to be running back, and I looking forward to get back into shape. I felt a little slow today, but it's good to be here as well. As like I told Joe last week, man, skipping 1 week was tough, man. So this podcast really is helps me get a lot off my chest and really lets me relax and talk about the stuff I love.
Man, just a second. Let me get my notepad. Lie down. It's very. It's. I'm just realizing 2 weeks is too much of a long time away from the mics and from you guys.
Awesome.
But I think I needed a break from you guys, you know.
I understand.
I need a break from myself almost every day. So.
Insomma, però there's always this important question I have in my mind, Andrea. What is the Ad Lib Podcast all about?
A very good question. So the Ad Lib Podcast is all about movies, all about TV shows, all about video games. Today, actually, we do have a video game to talk about. Not a very good one, but still a video game.
But we have to. Did you speak last time about the problem of AAA games being?
We did. We didn't go into too much detail,
Mm.
but we did talk about it. Yes, we did talk about it. It's a big issue. It's a big
with
issue.
Jedi Survivor, right?
Yes. So actually, on that front, since the update, so far so good. It's like
Alright.
fine now on
Good,
PS5.
good.
Okay.
I haven't updated myself on the state of Jedi Survivor on PC because, to be honest, I haven't had time to play that much.
Yeah.
I just played a bit of Redfall. I played like 3/4 of the game. That's all the gaming time I had this week, to be honest. It does feel a bit wasted, but now I'll get into that. But anyways, we had the podcast. We have 3 sections today to talk about. First of all, obviously, we'll update you about our past week, what we've been watching, what we've been doing, anything we've been playing. Then we'll get into some of the news. Not a lot of news to talk about, just some tidbits here and there, mostly related to the Writers Guild strike, of course. And then finally, we have some reviews for you. We have a review for Redfall. We have a review, obviously, for Guardians of the Galaxy. Franco will be talking about Return to Seoul. I think that's pretty much it, right, guys? Yeah, that's pretty much
think
it.
so. Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah.
pretty light.
And I have a secret show, but I'll talk about it now, not in the reviews, to be honest. There's not much to say. Secret show. I want to see your reactions.
Okay.
But anyways, guys,
Okay.
our week. Let's get into it. Franco, do you want to start off?
Yes.
What have you been up to?
Actually, I've been reading loads and loads of books recently. So I'm simultaneously reading Howard Zinn's People's History of the United States. Mind blowing. No, genuinely mind blowing because it's like it's a different perspective of the history of America, and usually how much of a heroic status we give to Christopher Columbus, and then you read this book and it's like, yeah, he used to be a slave for Christopher Columbus as well,
That guy was a fucking murderer. That guy was
Yeah,
a horrible person.
Exactly.
I
And
mean,
then,
being honest, most white people at the time.
To be fair, yeah.
right now I'm in the chapter about the Civil War, and I like his perspective because he said it's always been like two elites against each other, and picking the less fortunate of their underlings together to go and get killed in war. So it's a very interesting book. I've also read this book called Easy on the Tonic. It's about Katya Saunders. Katya Saunders is one of the foremost transgender personalities in Malta. She is actually the first to live openly as a transgender in Malta from the 1970s. So you can imagine the transphobia and the homophobia back in the day. And she had an interesting life. So I suggest that book. Well done, Ramona de Pares. And now I'm reading a biography of Anthony Bourdain.
Okay.
And
That'd be
again,
very interesting. I love Anthony Bourdain.
That must be quite a read.
Yeah, it's so good, and so far I think I'm chapter 6. But yeah, I've been reading lots of books. What else did I read? Yes, also I've read Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. No, trust me, I've devoured books like I've never devoured them before.
I've read a lot of books, man.
Memory Police as well, Shiktar, Convenience Store Woman. Yes, but I had the time as well. And as far as movies go, I saw How to Blow Up a Pipeline. Very, very good ensemble
Really
piece.
good. Yeah.
And even the actors, most of them are it's their first feature debut, or
I would say pretty much. Like, I mean, Christine Froseth has been in a few things. Sasha Lane as well.
yeah, Sasha Lane I recognize from
But I'd say probably, like, for the most part, the most they ever had to do in a feature, probably.
Yes,
like, as
and
part of an ensemble.
And it was very tense, very suspenseful. I watched it with my father as well, so he liked it. And I also watched, we'll review it later, Return to Seoul. who will be interviewing the director David Chu. I'm really looking forward for that. And that was
Nice.
anyway. I will speak to you about it later on during the review, because
Nice.
because I was super homesick when I saw it.
Nice. Joe, what about you?
On my part, I've been still playing Jedi Survivor, albeit not as much as last week, because I just got a bit busier with work this week. As I said, since the update runs like a charm now, at least on PS5, so if anyone's out there wondering whether it's worth it now on PS5, I'd say yes. And whenever I play it, I really enjoy it. And in terms of watching, we will review it later, but those that know me know that I did have the holy oath of never watching another Marvel film in a theater again. But I always said, like, this, you can ask my friend Alan, we always said, if there seems like justifiable reason to break the oath, then yes, we allow it. And I think James Gunn's final film under Disney and Marvel is justified enough reason to break the oath. But I don't want to spoil any of my thoughts on that. We'll talk about that later. I just will say some of you might find it surprising, to say the least. In terms of what else I've watched, Succession, still watching Succession. Barry is still the best show on television. We're past the 10-minute mark. What the fuck are you both doing not watching Barry? Sorry.
I honestly can't believe there's something better than Succession on TV. I find it very hard.
Genuinely believe it, because I have never seen, I don't think I can name a television show where the creator, showrunner, and writer has gone over the seasons and gained more influence over the show as it goes, to the point where in this final season, he is completely in control. He is the showrunner, he is the writer, he is the director of every single episode. And it is the closest thing. Yeah, Bill Hader. It is the closest thing to like auteurist like television filmmaking. It's incredible. Like I'm so upset that he doesn't have like more seasons to do more of his work, and I can't wait to see what Bill Hader does next after this. I hope someone gives him a film, and a fucking big one as well. I hope he takes on something bold, because even as an actor, it's the best. Succession is fantastic, and it's having moments, especially in the last episode, where like, considering the writers' strikes, like I'm sure you've seen the meme, Andrea. It's like these heels walking across the floor with flames coming off them.
Yeah.
And it says the writers of Succession after that Shiv and Tom scene, like leaving the writers' room, which is, it's accurate. But yeah, I mean, that's basically been me. I watched Guardians, I'm keeping up with Barry, keeping up with Succession. And actually what I'm doing now, since watching Guardians, I went back and I rewatched the first one. Still really, really like that film. And I'm going to rewatch the second one, but I did take my girlfriend to see Guardians of the Galaxy, and full context, I think the last MCU film she saw was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And she's been completely out of the loop since then. I'll go more into her side of things in the review, because it actually bleeds into my thoughts as well. But now I told her I want to show her the good MCU films, the ones that I like. So we started yesterday with Thor Ragnarok, and we're halfway through it. And so far, she's having a great time, and so am I. So
Good.
That's me.
I need to do that with my girlfriend as well. To be fair, Tristan has watched a few MCU movies. Like, Miskina, she watched Sandman. And there was Quantumania. I took her to the wrong movie.
Well, my girlfriend is just not interested in like the wider world as a whole. She doesn't want to have to do the homework to understand them, because she's not huge on like these big action films. But when they're entertaining and they have characters you can relate to, a la Guardians of the Galaxy, she really enjoys them.
Well, she likes Ant-Man. She liked the first two Ant-Man quite a lot. But Ant-Man is a nice, just a fun distraction,
it's a very,
kind of.
It's a very inoffensive film.
She is at the end, and she did
Apart
quite
from
like
Ant-Man
them. Ant-Man 2 was not great, not good, but it was okay. It was still okay, in my opinion. But then they ruined everything with the third one.
Always remember, we could have had Edgar Wright's Ant-Man. Always remember.
We could have had a writer-director. I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll save it for the end.
Anything else, Joe?
No, just that.
All right. In my case, like Joe, I watched also was that episode 7? Joe, or
7, yes.
7. Oof.
Yes. There's only 3 more to go.
Fucking hell, man. I mean, it's just like the episodes of Succession is, whoa, how can they top this? Oh my God, there's no way they can top this.
Yeah.
What the hell? They topped it again.
Yeah.
Like after the showdown between Ken and Metzen,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, that was like the peak.
How did they top it? And they
then-
will hold my bit.
There's fucking Matthew McConaughey. Oh, Madonna.
Matthew
Matthew
McFadden.
McFadden and Sarah Snook acting their hearts out.
Yeah.
That scene between them was... my girlfriend was next to me. She was reading a book. And then I was like... oh my God, he said that. Oh my God, he said that. Because it was great. It was great, man. It was great to see Tom just let out all his feelings
Yeah.
in that episode.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for that for a very long time. And then the final scene, Joe, I don't want to ruin the final scene, but final scene with Matthew McFadden
Yeah.
in bed. Oh my
It's
God,
good.
that was
It's very good.
I really honestly cannot believe there's something better than that on television right now.
Yeah, there is. Trust me.
So because Succession season 4 is turning into...
Very.
Barry is it?
It's really challenging. My thoughts whether it's better than season 4 of The Wire, because season 4 of The Wire is like
I haven't seen The Wire, so I can't
best
say.
I've ever watched, in my opinion.
Season 1, that's it. But I have to continue The Wire.
Continue it. Watch it, guys. It's excellent. It's excellent TV.
The Wire,
Very, very, very good TV.
The Wire first season, it's like you're reading a novel. So it's almost. Would I be wrong in calling it Dickensian, almost Dickensian, but based in where is it? Boston. The first season, no, the first season isn't Baltimore, Boston. Yeah,
Baltimore.
I think Baltimore. Yes.
yeah,
But a bit more gritty, I would say, Franco. A bit slightly more
yes,
gritty,
yes.
kind of.
yes.
Why Idris Elba's so good. Oh my God, he's so good in
Trivia time. You know that you missed it. Oh, that was a bit empty. Without
did,
the
I did.
trivia. Joe got me. Why I said empty?
Yes. Yes.
Andrea's face. Basically, Andrea is souring his face on the mention of empty.
Yeah.
If you know, you know, guys. Leave a comment down below. What was I saying? Yeah, Idris Elba apparently. But when he went for the audition, he put up an American accent. He didn't want to tell them that he's actually British,
Okay.
and that's how he got the role. I think it was I forgot if it was the role that then what's his name? Something John K. Williams. Was it John K. Williams?
No, Michael K. Williams.
Michael K. Williams. And then Idris Elba got the role, basically. Michael K. Williams got the role.
He
had.
has a role in it.
Yes, and then Idris Elba became he was the kingpin. I forgot the names. Apologies to the Wire fans.
I forgot a lot as well about The Wire. I just remember season 4 being about schools in Baltimore and just being like the best season of television I've ever watched in my life. It's like incredible television.
What's David Simon doing recently? I know he did one called Trem, based on in New Orleans, and it was also quite good. No, what's he?
Didn't they do the one which is like technically in the Wire universe, the We Run This City?
Oh yes,
John-
we
with
run
John
the
Bernthal.
city. Yes,
with John Bernthal.
apparently it's really good. I need to watch.
Yeah,
this
apparently it's
to
really
remember.
good.
I have to put it in my list of stuff to watch. We
We
run
own
the
the
city.
city. We run the
No,
No,
city.
and then instead you decide to watch episodes of Citadel instead.
Oh, wait till you hear what I've watched this week. Moving on. So let's get... Actually, before I get to that, obviously I watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3 yesterday as well. Quite a packed day yesterday. Joe, I noticed that I've been watching Beef as well, and I don't know if I mentioned it last week. Did I mention it last week? I don't know.
think
But anyways,
you did. I think
I
you
watched
might
Beef
have.
and I finished Beef, which is a very, very, very good season. Thank you for
really good
mentioning
show.
it, Franco. It's a really, really well written show,
So
well
good.
acted.
Very, very well, very good.
And
So
all is full of love, that sequence.
last week, Joe, I mentioned that I had watched a classic movie. And I forgot to mention it later on, because then I remembered, but I forgot to mention it. Last week, I rewatched Lawrence of Arabia. Again, because I was sick, so I had like 4 hours of my life to spend in front of a television. So I rewatched Lawrence of Arabia. And that scene where they switch to the desert, it's still one of the best cuts I've ever watched in my life.
David Lee.
The music. Wow, the music just... Oh, so good.
I feel like I need to rewatch Lawrence of Arabia now again.
Most probably, Danny Villeneuve is channeling a bit of David Lee.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm here for every second of it.
Absolutely. Actually, talking about the trailer, I rewatched it again. And did you guys notice the amazing use of color in the trailer?
Yes.
Every world has a really particular color. So I rewatched it again because my friend messaged me. He was like, "Oh my god, did you watch the Dune trailer?" I was, "Of course," the moment it came out. And I rewatched it again, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm not just noticing now the colors, man. The colors, every different world. I mean, there's obviously the black and white, the blue, obviously the orange. The colors are so powerful,
so good.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Just makes such beautiful movies.
Austin Butler doesn't look like Elvis anymore.
True.
I was surprised. He looks quite scary. Yeah.
Yep. It's gonna be an interesting performance. I'm looking forward to that. So,
by the way, I have to admit,
apparently the Elvis voice is gone, so I'm open to being surprised. So we'll see. Look, Austin Butler is definitely, he can definitely act, because like I've seen him in other things before, and he's a very talented actor. It's okay. He did an imitation once. I'm going to say we all do it. I don't know.
Franco, you were going to say something before.
Unsolved Mysteries. I've been watching Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix. It's a sort of guilty pleasure sort of viewing, but there are some episodes which are like, what the hell is happening? What the hell happened here?
I had a binge of those ones. I used to listen to the podcast Lore as well, which is really good.
Oh, by the way,
Lore is really good.
Have you tried Case 43? Case 43, is that Case 43? With Oscar Isaac and Julianne Moore?
No, I haven't. I forgot about that.
Well, the lore isn't like it's actual, like, it's not fiction. It's based on real life stuff. They talk about like these like unsolved things, but then some of them they actually come back and explain why they might have been this way and stuff like that. It's really, really interesting.
Nice.
And
but there was one episode based in Oslo about a woman with no identity whatsoever, not even the tags of her clothes they could find, and
Jesus Christ.
But there's something fishy for sure. But if you want something like to be involved in and try some guesswork, Unsolved Mysteries. And what was it, Andrea?
The last thing. Surprise. Look at yours.
Is this what you watched? Oh, no.
No.
I really like Bridgerton, man.
Wait. What?
I unironically like Bridgerton.
Wait, but like you haven't told us this entire time that you've been watching Bridgerton.
I completely forgot about it, to be honest.
So wait, I get shit for liking Too Hot to Handle.
No. But this is nothing to do with Too Hot to Handle.
I know it's nothing to do with it, but I guess I still took the heat for that.
Look at the costumes and the set pieces. The costumes and the set pieces are beautiful. It's really beautifully produced. Honestly, I'm telling you, I was
genuinely.
Look at this; it looks really good.
No, I can't knock the production value. In fact, that's one thing I always praise of these trashy reality TV shows I like, is that the production value is through the roof. But
look at the costumes. The costumes are incredible.
Genuinely, I remember trying to watch a bit of Bridgerton with my girlfriend a couple of years ago, and I'm like, this is just not for me. I already struggled with period pieces in general. When I say period pieces, I mean these distinct of this period kind of pieces. Like, I think the only one I've liked in recent years was The Favourite and The Great, the TV series, because they had that like non-pretentious wishy-washiness that I don't like that these things always have. where everyone talks and then look down their nose at you British accent.
But there is the thing about Bridgerton that I like is that it's even in their casting, obviously there's the obvious casting of persons of color in certain roles where clearly there wouldn't have been in those. Although there are, I did some research. There are some questions whether Queen Charlotte could have been a person of color, which are very, let's say, I seriously doubt she could have been a person of color. But there still are some question marks, so we'll give them that. I was quite impressed, however, with this season, because season 1 and season 2 are trash TV. This, however, has been a much more mature season of Bridgerton. It's like a separate story. They took the Queen character. I don't know if you know who the Queen character was in the original Bridgerton. And they went back in time to when she was 17 and her first time in England when she married the King Charles. King George. King George, who is most known for being the king who lost America. Lost America and for being mad. And however...
Lost America.
However, the way it tackles mental health is actually quite mature as a series. I'm really surprised. I'm going to be honest with you. I went in ready to watch trash TV, but apart from the obvious beautiful costumes, obviously very beautiful actors, and just the set pieces, the beauty of the set pieces, I was surprised how well it tackles like themes like duty, stuff like mental health, and taking a woman who's 17 and sending her to a different country, different custom. The way it tackles it is actually not bad at all. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm actually looking forward to watching the next episode of this season. I'm not forcing myself to watch it. I'm enjoying watching it, to be honest with you. So yeah, this was my surprise.
Okay.
This was my surprise.
Consider me surprised.
I don't think you expected this.
No, honestly, I was expecting something worse. So
okay, fair
fine.
enough.
Yeah, we're used to Andrea now.
There's no Velma.
I was genuinely expecting I secretly watched the entirety of Velma.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I gave up on that. All right, guys. So our viewers and listeners, let us know in the comment section below what you've been watching in the past week. Anything we should watch? Give us some suggestions in the comment section. Also, Franco, what should our viewers do? I've missed hearing you say this.
Swipe right on Tinder. No. Comment, like, subscribe, and follow us on Spotify, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, on TikTok as well. We should up our game, guys, on the socials. But listen, guys, we're not influencers. We're influencers. We try to be influencers. Not yet, but we'll get there. We'll get there. And actually, I have to say something to you after the show, Andrea. So, I'll keep it in mind. But yeah, follow us on all the socials and stay tuned for more episodes. And now that the Ad Lib Podcast is legal, of drinking legal age in America,
Hey.
what's in the news?
What's in the news? By the way, guys, in summer, we should do a drinking episode. We should just have one episode where we get really drunk.
Wait, speaking of beer, I was going to say you should have said "hold my picket sign," not "hold my beer."
No. All right, the news. So what have we got in the news?
That's a good segue, Madonna.
That was going to be the last thing we talked about, because there's a lot about that. But we can get into it, to be honest, because there's so much to talk about. So, the Writers Guild. Let's take Franco's segue. There's a lot to say about the Writers Guild, to be honest. I read about HBO ordering showrunners to return, which obviously HBO being shitty.
Yeah.
I read about the issues with Netflix and the season 5 being halted because they're not obviously paying fair wages.
Okay.
And Netflix obviously this way is going to be delayed. There's a lot to say about this. I also found a list of TV shows that are going to be delayed. There's obviously A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, Hedge Knight, which was in, I believe, pre-production, but they stopped it. I don't know if anyone here watches Abbott Elementary. I know this series gets a
pretty
lot
good,
of
though.
awards. Series gets a lot of awards. Big Mouth, which I have no idea what that is. 8th season. Blade, which doesn't really exist, but they're saying it exists.
I think Hasanabi and the Mekonover went there to shut down the production.
Yes. I haven't watched that, but I read about it on Twitter. Cobra Kai as well, which is delayed. My girlfriend will hate that because she loves watching Cobra Kai. Another series, I don't know what's happening there, but even Daredevil Born Again was halted production. Evil, which I have no idea what that is.
Evil, I watched 3. I don't know if I watched 3 seasons of it, but it's very charming. It's charming, but it's supernatural horror series, but not too gory, not too almost I could say teenage almost. Wait, no. It's not scary with blood and gore whatsoever, but it does revolve around a satanic presence, and I liked it. I found it charming, and the cast has good chemistry.
Okay, so that's Evil. Hacks. I know there's more than these. These are just a few, to be honest with you. And then obviously the late night talk shows. Jimmy Fallon, I don't really care about those. Do you guys care about those?
Not really,
Jimmy
no.
Kimmel,
I mean,
Jimmy Fallon's.
they are very big shows. So
Yeah.
Fine.
The Bill Maher, the John Oliver. John Oliver, to be fair, is quite good. I watch a few of John Oliver's shows on Hasanabi's
Yep.
show, and they're actually not bad at all.
No.
Severance, which we talked about last week, and Stranger Things, which I made reference to with that news. Wonder Man? What the hell is Wonder Man?
Oh no, not Blade. Wonder Man it was.
Wonder Man it was? Or I don't know what
no
Wonder
idea
Man
what
is.
that even is.
Yahya Abdul-Mateen is a very good actor. He's a very, very good actor, but I have no idea what Wonder Man is. And Yellow Jackets. I got a lot of comments about the fact that I should watch Yellow Jackets by quite a few people.
Yeah, apparently it's very good. There's not enough hours in the
Season
day.
2 is coming out right now. I think they're in like episode 6 or 5, 6. It always comes up. But apparently it's very, very, very good. It's one of those there where I'm like, I'll watch it, and I never actually get around to watching it because I have to watch Bridgerton instead. So these are the shows. Guys, shall we start off with companies like HBO and Netflix being shitty?
Well, Disney are doing it as well.
Disney as well.
Every big company is doing it, to be honest. Because they're kind of at the point of like, so much money is going to be lost over here. I mean, I think it's being shitty, but at the same time, they can't really support the writers striking because there's too much money to be literally burned on their part. So it looks very out. This isn't me like defending them, but it looks very outwardly shitty and tyrannical. But they can't really do anything else because, like as we discussed last week, Andrea, the writers are striking, and that means hundreds of people in these productions are losing work.
No, that's true.
Because of
That's
it.
very
And
true.
these companies, they're bleeding. What needs to happen is the producers need to actually get their shit together and stop being shitty and actually offer a good deal, a good fair deal to these writers.
I don't think it's just the producers. I mean, it's all about. Someone said it's become all about the shares and market value of the company.
Yeah.
So there is value in what you said for sure about the producers having to step up their game and securing decent wages, especially for writers and the below the line workers. Most of the companies, that's what it is, like IPs and how much we have market value, how much merchandise we can sell. I mean, we can see it with doing Harry Potter again. People, Jesus Christ, no, possibly no one. There's no new stuff coming out. I mean, no wonder new writers and new upcoming talent are struggling to come up with new stuff.
Yeah.
And secondly, again, shout out Hazan Abid, the amount of the percentage of writers that are not getting paid a decent wage, a decent living wage, has increased from the last time strike. It went up to 43.6%. Don't quote me on the exact numbers, but I mean, also it's good that it's costing them money, because apparently this is how people listen. You know, hit them where it hurts.
The only way.
Hits them where it hurts. Yeah.
Only way they will listen, to be honest with you.
Obviously, we back the writers. The shame is that then for lack of a better term, the little people get caught in the middle. So like, imagine you were just like first day as like a trainee on a set, and then this writer's strike happens, and then it's like, shit, I have no work. I have sympathy for those people. I don't have sympathy for the producers. I have also quite little sympathy for these companies right now. They're just trying to cover their asses in the fact of they have a slate which they need to fulfill, and money is going to be lost, and it's going to make a mess. Look at the mess that just COVID caused.
Yeah.
With like the release slate. Look at what it's done to the MCU. And also, I have a hot take here, guys, and I'm gonna lay it all down. The reason that the conditions for writers have become so bad is us as audiences, and I'm going to explain that. Why? Because of the streaming age, and because of the way now shows are produced, and the way residuals don't exist, because of the way we release things, because we need everything at our fingertips and not on a TV channel or anything like that, it has changed the way writers get paid, and therefore it has changed their kind of industry forever. Back in the day, like, for example, writers on Friends would run for a season, but then there'd be reruns of that season, and you would get residuals on those reruns based on the viewership that they would bring in. So you could essentially, on a show like Friends, this is going to be a slight exaggeration, but you could be a writer for one season on Friends, and you probably could live off the residuals for virtually the rest of your life if Friends was still being shown on TV channels with reruns and residuals. But for that time, there were a lot of writers were doing that, where they'd write on something really big, and they wouldn't need to worry too much about finding the next big job, because they could live off the reruns that they were doing. But because now we live in this age where it needs to be on streaming, and I need to be able to pick up my phone and go to my Netflix app and watch it right here, right now, obviously these companies aren't going to offer, it doesn't matter how many times something gets viewed, the writer's not going to get paid based on the views that something gets. You know?
True,
that's my hot take. But the whole audience spectrum is partly to blame for all of this.
I agree with you as well, because I mean, we spoke about The Bear. The Bear. I read recently 3 days of shooting the episodes. Like, we're serious. Tipo, no wonder they actually worked around it very well with episode 7. They only had 4 takes of that episode in 1 take, and you're right about it. Plus there was a thing about why some shows are being pulled out of streaming service, so they don't have to pay the residuals.
Yeah,
especially like Westworld and whatnot. So plus the companies remove the series from streaming platforms to save up money and keep the app, and say to keep the app, but they're not losing any money whatsoever. Plus, as far as residuals go, a writer apparently got 3 cents of residual stuff from 2 episodes.
Yeah,
I mean, it's insane, you know.
But yeah,
and now they want AI. They want AI as well, which is another.
I'm sorry, but AI is that you will see like dumb fucks on the internet that will be like, oh yeah, I bet an AI can write something really good. The reason, and this is, I'm sure you'll find loads of people that have said the exact same thing I'm about to say, because I think it's why we like watching stuff which is written by a person, is because through that writing, you get a slight insight into the person's background or what they were going through at the time when they wrote it. and that's why it becomes human, and there's emotion to it, and there's relatability. I cannot relate to a fucking toaster or an AI machine, and I guarantee you I will be able to tell if I watch something made by a machine and if I watch something made by people.
You can watch. Actually, if I suggest to the viewers and listeners, they can watch Casey Neistat doing a vlog according to ChatGPT, and it loses. There's no character, and that's what. Can AI ever replicate the soul?
Like, I don't think AI could ever write the scene between Shiv and Tom.
No,
for example.
absolutely not.
I don't think that's possible.
I was going to say, interesting on this with the question Franco poses, I don't know if you guys watched it. I didn't review it last time because it hasn't really been seen anywhere, but on digital, there was a film released called The Artifice Girl, which it tackles these questions about AI. I actually really recommend that film. It's a really, really good micro-budget sci-fi with some incredible... the film is basically all dialogue, it's conversations, but incredibly electric conversations in that film and big questions about this kind of AI. But like, on that, we as people, we connect to human things. It's what makes us at the end of the day. I'm going to pick up on the hollowness of a machine, and it comes down to this thing as well. Currently, at the point we are in right now with AI, because people go like, AI can create art. It is not creating art. You are giving it a command. It is finding different things, and it is putting them together in a random clusterfuck, which is designed to look coherent and good. But it is not capable of anything actually truly original. You cannot prompt an AI to just go create. It doesn't. You need to. You need to give it like a. It's quite cool. A friend of mine found the AI program where it like makes pictures for you. He said, "Show me Malta in a snowstorm," and it's got like the typical Maltese balconies, and it even got like the Grand Harbour and stuff with like stroller with it. It's really cool to look at, and it's cool that a computer program can do that. Is it original? No. You needed to tell it Malta. You needed to tell it snow.
Plus, again, I think this is almost like would it be the fourth industrial revolution when there was, but when it's the same thing when people were being replaced by machines, especially on the, what you call it?
On the production line.
Production line, exactly, especially in the car making industry. I mean, excuse me, at the end of the day, AI is a tool. And it does help. I'm gonna say I use when I use it for making captions. It helps me a lot. But at the end of the day, AI is to be. AI should be in the service of the creator, not the creator to be in the service of the AI.
Exactly.
Agreed.
Especially with the art. The art should be like. I mean, when you see and just playing, it should be inspiration. At least say for what shall I call it? The storyboarding. For storyboarding, it's great.
Yes, absolutely, fantastic. It takes so much time out of it, but again, it has to have prompts. Yes, it's a tool.
It's not a person. It's a tool.
No,
agreed. And something I want to repeat from last week, because last week I mentioned this, but I didn't go into too much detail. I've been seeing a lot of people saying, like, who cares that the writers are striking? The shows we've been getting recently are so bad and written so poorly that we don't really need writers at all. Probably AI could do a better job. And I'm like, are you actually watching television? There's so much good stuff on television right now. Like, this is one of the best times to be watching television. Like, just the fact that there's something as good as Barry and as good as Succession on in the same kind of like studio channel, whatever, coming from the same studio, coming out at the same time. It's like, are you watching this stuff or not? How can you? I mean, yes, it's true. There is a lot of shitty stuff on television. There's a lot of bad stuff. There's a lot of bad MCU stuff coming out recently as well. Granted, there's a lot of bad stuff. But there's also a lot of very good stuff as well.
But that is the thing with art in general. Like I like to think of it, and it's a comforting thought to me. It's like an art class at school, okay? for every student that does a really good still life of like a bottle and some fruit and stuff, and it looks really good in pencil, there are 10 students that draw a bottle and some fruit which looks like dog shit. Okay, good stuff, especially creatively and in art, is always a bit harder to come by because it is not an easy thing to create. And that is what makes it so good about it. So when you find something good that has been created, that is why we think it is so good. Because we, at least I know the three of us here, we know how difficult it is to do these things. And people that have respect for art and they understand creativity, that is why they are drawn to these things. Even there are people who are as intelligent, I think even the three of us here can say, of even if we don't like the story of something, we can appreciate that someone tried something or it was creative in a certain way.
Definitely, 100%.
Yep.
But there are certain channels that they're so negative in the way they look at art.
They're always going to be. And I think it comes from a place of insecurity and jealousy.
No, but that's not only jealousy, but art has been devalued too. It's now no longer a value of. Take Leonardo da Vinci. Why? What was it? It was one of the most expensive auctions ever. I mean, why? This art was not meant to be like hung up on a wall of some rich bastard. I'm sorry if Haljet.
Yeah.
I mean, why? For what reason? Plus, there's also the upkeep, which he cannot for sure afford. I mean, why? It's become. I understand how some certain people become sort of distrustful of art in general, because it's something snobs only enjoy, and in a certain sense, in a certain way, you know, like the value is being made by the market again.
Also, negativity sells on YouTube. Negativity sells a lot. Yeah, so there's that as well.
there is actually on social media. There is actually like a technique called the negative hook.
Because it was proven years ago. The Facebook algorithm was designed to give you bad news more than it was designed to give you good news.
Definitely.
Yep.
It gets you talking more. So
definitely. Shall we move on, guys, to the next topic?
Yes.
Moving on. We have to talk about really quickly. Just going to mention this really quickly. Guardians of the Galaxy, which has been doing really well in the domestic box office and in the global box office as well. So I'm glad to hear that Guardians of the Galaxy is on the road to make a lot of money, because I think it's a movie that deserves it, to be honest. But we'll talk about that later on. So good job, James Gunn, on that aspect. The Bear Season 2 unveils its premiere date. Apparently The Bear will return for its next season on Thursday, June 22nd, and apparently all 10 episodes will be available at once, exclusively on Hulu in the US and Disney Plus in the UK. Is it on Disney Plus? Is season 1 of Bear available on Disney Plus?
I watched on the Disney Plus. The only part I don't like about that news I didn't know about is that it's releasing all at once.
That's true.
But I'm still really excited because I literally watched season 1 of The Bear 3 times. So.
And this also depends on the writer's strike as well. But if it's going ahead, it's going ahead. So I'm looking forward to it as well.
No, I believe it's done. The Bear, like it's finished. The second season at least.
Hopefully, because I messaged one of the writers who's also striking it now, and he can give us more insight about it. Hopefully. Alex O'Keefe.
Nice. That would be very interesting. I still have to watch The Bear, so I'll make the time.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's genuinely incredible.
Now, guys, I have a question, and I'm going to judge you on your answer to this. Has anyone here watched The Vast of Night?
I have. It's fantastic.
Yay. Frank, have you watched it?
Is it about a sort of 1950s Close Encounters?
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
Yeah.
It was in my top 10 list that year. Was that 2020? Was that COVID year?
I think it was a COVID year, yeah.
That was one of the best movies of the year.
It has. Look, I commend it. I wasn't fully sold on it, especially there were some scenes which were very, very dark.
Yes, it had some dark. But the one take scene, That was so beautiful.
Yes.
The one where he filmed it on the... What did he film it on? I don't know if you read about this, guys, but apparently that one take scene, he was on... He took... I can't remember what he used. I'll look it up. And then I'll tell you. But apparently I can't remember. But it was a very cheap movie, and they really had to innovate when they were filming that movie.
Yes. No, but it had he had a good sense of mise en scène. He has had a really great sense of mise en scène, like how the camera follows the action. You could follow the story easily, and again also like a very commendable effort. And now we see what's gonna happen with Rivals of Amziah King.
The Rivals of
this?
Amziah King. Details are being kept under wraps by production companies Black Bear Pictures and Heyday Films, but the film will be a gritty, atmospheric crime drama set in remote, rural Oklahoma. McConaughey will play the titular role of Amziah King, says Heyday exec David Heyman. When I first watched The Vast of Night, it was clear to me that Andrew Patterson was a remarkable talent with singular vision. I'm incredibly excited to be working with Andrew and support him and Matthew as they bring Amziah to life and make what I believe will be an extraordinary film. Native Oklahoma himself, Patterson made his feature debut with the eerie science fiction movie The Vast of Night, which landed on a number of best of 2020 lists, including mine. So not a lot of details here, but I'm really excited to hear more about this because my comment at the end of my review for The Vast of Night is I am bloody excited to see what he comes up with next with a bit more money.
I thought the exact same thing.
That I can admit to as well. Even though I wasn't fully sold, I was looking forward to see what he's coming up with.
Just give this guy a bit more money, and I think he can achieve a lot with it. So I will be excited to see what comes out of this. Finally, last piece of news I want to talk about today. We have our first reactions for The Little Mermaid. They are kind of so-and-so. Very positive on Halle Bailey's performance. And to be honest with you, even from the trailer, I could tell she has an amazing voice and she seems like a very good casting choice. But at the same time, a lot of people saying, did we actually need this?
Spoiler, no.
Spoiler. For the edit, put a Pikachu surprise surprise face over here. Exactly.
It was interesting to see because I went into because these are a bunch of tweets basically. Some of them are super positive, like this one by Jazz Tanke. Some of them were a bit more negative. The negative ones got a lot of hateful messages apparently from Disney fans.
Yeah,
it was quite interesting to read. So if you look at the comments, generally the first reactions are really positive. That's the tendency. The tendency is for the first reactions to be super positive, and then the real kind of like full reviews come out because people tend to be more positive in their first reaction, including me, to be honest. I'm generally quite positive in my first reaction unless I really dislike something. But the fact that there are already negative comments in the first reaction, so endearing but uneven, filled with great performances, but it's a mostly paint-by-numbers remake that isn't as good as the animated masterpiece. This is the guy who got a lot of hate. It's real simple. Are you excited for The Little Mermaid? You like it. It's exactly what you think it is. Are you skeptical and worried about it? That's valid too. It looks weird and disjointed. Bailey is great. McCarthy rules. The songs work, but it just feels so unnecessary. This is what kind of the vibe.
What did he say wrong? Because he said, like, if you're excited for it, you like it. It's exactly what you think it is. Full stop.
Yeah. Because then he tweeted. It was funny. Then this guy tweeted. Where was it? I think this is the first time this sentence has ever been uttered in history. I'm blocking way too many toxic Little Mermaid fans tonight. And that made me laugh.
Jermaine Lucier, we salute you.
Yes, I'm going to follow him for that. He deserves it.
So you know what I feel like would be a better strategy for this with Disney? If you just took these beloved animated films and you restored them and upscaled them to 4K, and just fucking re-release them in the cinema. I would pay to go and watch an upscaled 4K version of The Little Mermaid.
True.
Do you know why? Because the last time I watched the fucking Little Mermaid, I was 6 years old, and it was on a VHS screen that was this big.
True. Same.
why.
Same.
And that way, you expose to new audiences. You don't spend any money on a giant production, and you don't
True.
run any risk, and the toxic assholes don't have a fucking thing to scream at, and everyone's happy. Do it with The Jungle Book. Do it with Peter Pan. Do it with Please do it with Hercules. Actually, I love Hercules. I
love
watch that film
Hercules
once
as
a
well.
year. Do it with
Hercules.
all of them, all these old animated films, and just make them beautiful. You can remaster the sound as well, and just shit them out into cinemas. And I guarantee I will go and see every single one. But guys,
Definitely.
newsflash, I haven't paid money to go and see a single Disney live-action remake.
There are some I boycotted, Astra. There are some I was just like, I'm not going to go watch this.
Unnecessary, unnecessary. Bħal Moana. Moana's super
Madonna.
unnecessary.
Ugh.
Also, Joe with 4 hours of sleep spitting facts.
Yeah,
True.
sorry, the emotions are running high at the moment.
It's
So,
true.
Guys, Disney, I'll if you want to like offer me a job for my ideas of how to fucking not piss people off and release your films, I'll do it. I don't care.
Oh, man.
Oh well.
What would be... Guy, okay, quick
I
question.
think
What
Andrea's
would be...
muted.
Yes, yes.
I was coughing, that's why. And I forgot
Ah,
to
okay.
unmute myself.
So, if you had to do a new animated feature, what would your story be?
New
Right.
animated feature. Ooh, I need time to think
Okay,
about it.
okay.
Original.
So, original, but don't think things with feelings, because like the meme, what if feelings had feelings, what if cars had feelings, what if toys had feelings.
Lalo, this, I need to
Actually,
think
not
about
like wait, not totally original, but I would take great inspiration. Do you guys know the game Biomutant?
this.
Now the game
Uh-huh.
wasn't perfect, but I love the concept behind it.
They're making a
Where
new
it's-
Biomutant, by the way, right?
I hope so, because I hope that they build on what the foundation of the first game, because the foundations are really good. But essentially, Franco, it is in a post-apocalyptic world where there are only animals, but they're kind of like hybrid type animals. They're not just like a cat. They're kind of like a cat, squirrel, bird thing.
Ooh, okay.
And the game is kind of like, it's a bit of like a shooter and a kung fu game at the same time. So I would do an animated feature with that, because the imagination is huge in that respect. Of you can have these weird, strange creatures that shoot guns and they do these heists, but they also do kung fu as well. I think that could be, it's really cool.
But if to jump onto what you were saying about the game, there was a game called Two of Us. What's it called? There's
Was it-
also strange or not.
Two of Us.
There's basically
one-
a mother and
It Takes Two. That's
It
a
Takes
really
it takes
good
two.
game.
Yes.
It takes
That's a
two.
really good game. Great game.
It takes two would make for a good animated feature. And there's also,
Fantastic animated feature.
is it Strange Little Planet? What was it? What?
Little Big Planet.
Little
yeah.
Big
Little
Planet.
Big Planet.
Oh, that's so good.
I'm surprised Sony haven't pitched that one as an animated film yet.
There. Little Big Planet is actually very good. Very, very good.
Yeah.
So they have material to not to rehash the old
By the way,
stuff,
Franco,
for sure.
I thought about your question. If I had a big budget to make a big budget animated movie, I'd try and go kind of like cyberpunkish style, but maybe add
Or
certain
Marvel.
more modern elements to it. Not keep like the old cyberpunk style, but maybe add some kind of like more contemporary themes to it. I think that's the route I'd go. If I had like a big budget, I had to have a big budget for it, because obviously cyberpunk is, big. And
It will cost
Speaking-
money.
costs a lot of money.
Speaking of cyberpunk, I have to shout out a creator on Instagram. I forgot his name, but he's recreating the Akira scenes on Blender,
Oh wow, okay.
Wow.
and it's fantastic. So
That actually reminds me, I
Nice.
haven't watched my Akira Blu-ray yet, and I need to do that. I think I might trick my
Oh.
girlfriend into watching it with me.
Nice.
Just be like, look,
Oh, man.
it's a nice animated film. It'll be
Nice.
fine.
Nice.
yeah, especially when is it Akira? No, what's his friend's name? He changes into that blob of.
Oh God, I can't remember. It's probably been about 5 years since I've last seen Akira, but I know exactly what you're referring to. He screams the name multiple times at the end. Was it Tetsuo? No, not Tetsuo.
Tetsuo.
Yeah.
No,
Was it
no,
Tetsuo?
it's what Tetsuo, and I think that's how he got the name of Tetsuo the Iron Man as well.
Okay.
God, I haven't seen that movie, and it's always been on my list.
It's another one that's been on my list as well. Yes. No, never seen it.
That would have been a great double feature with Pi as well.
Oh, I'm dying here, guys.
Yes, Andrea's currently dying.
Shall we move on to the reviews?
We've frozen.
Let's resurrect him. No, he's not frozen.
No, I'm not frozen.
Oh, we're good now.
Okay.
No, on my end, I'm okay.
I'm fine here as well.
Shall we move on to the reviews, guys? Because
Joe, you said you watched Boys Afraid.
No,
because
not yet. It comes out. I will have watched it next weekend.
Okay.
Next weekend, it comes out on the 19th, and I plan to be right there. I'm hoping it's going to show in IMAX over here, because I'll definitely go and see that. My girlfriend says she wants to come with me, but I'm kind of trying to be like, look, maybe you won't like this one.
Franco, do you know if it's coming out? Do you know if it's coming out in the place which I will not mention?
It is, yes.
It is.
So I think you have to make your rule and go watch.
No.
Come on, you have to for Bo. Come on.
No.
Come on.
Well, by the 27th, it will be out on digital anyway. So
no, it's going to be a while for digital. Apparently,
it will be a while for digital.
Apparently, they're saying like July because it's A24.
Embassy or Eden aren't going to show it, especially Embassy.
Nope, they won't.
I really appreciate this the Embassy cinema. This when I went to watch Guardians of the Galaxy, the music sounds so good in that cinema. They're very good speakers, there. So very, very, very good speakers.
Anyways, my only qualm with Embassies, the soundproofing, man.
Soundproofing, that's the only issue. Sometimes you hear the rumbling from
the other.
It's only cinemas 1 and 2 that are the issues. Only cinemas 1 and 2 have those issues, I believe. Because they're very close to each other. The rest don't have that issue. But 1 and 2, yes, there you do hear a bit of rumbling from the nearby cinema.
And speaking of toxic fandom, Boys Afraid, the reactions of certain fans, Madonna. Like, okay, don't take risk directors to keep giving them what they want. You know, be Wes Anderson. Sorry, no, wait, because I get kidnapped again. I even Chazelle for it being a hot mess. Babylon, it was a great risk taking, you know, and he's big swing. I mean, you still notice that it's a Chazelle movie with the editing, but he took a great swing. It was enjoyable at the end of the day, and I'm keeping my expectations measured. I'm feeling it's going to be the same with Boys Afraid.
I can't wait.
We'll see.
Anyway.
All right, guys. So, viewers, listeners, let us know in the comment section below. What do you think about the writers' strike? Your thoughts about, obviously, how Guardians of the Galaxy has been doing in the box office. We talked about Andrew Patterson, the director of Vast of Night, and his new movie. Lots to talk about. And The Little Mermaid, of course. Are you still excited to go watch it?
If you're a toxic Disney fan, we're going to block you as well.
Franco, we don't have the popularity to ban people right now. Let's do that way.
Most probably we're going to get banned, so
yeah, that's true.
Cancelled before having the grace of being cancelled, you know?
Let us know in the comment section below. And now, time to move on to the reviews. And I think, shall we start off with Return to Seoul? Franco?
Yes, we can. Let's start with that. Mela, let's get to the. Okay. So, I'm checking to say the storyline so that I don't get any details.
I'm gonna bring it up on screen now.
Yep. So, a 25-year-old French woman, Frédéric Brenois, and who in the movies they refer to as Freddy, returns to Korea, the country she was born in, before being adopted by a French couple for the very first time. She decides to track down her biological parents, but her journey takes a surprising turn. Okay, I have to admit from the outset that I have a huge bias because some of the locations shown in the movie are I've been to. Like I've been at the bar where she also has a dancing sequence, and it has a really funny name. It's called Kopchang Zongol, and Kopchang Zongol is actually a Korean dish of a pig intestine soup. But the concept of that bar is they play only old songs. Now, for those familiar with Korean drama and Korean movies, they'll also notice the nuances, and they'll also understand more the cultural clash that's happening between being Korean but not exactly being Korean. Being also brought up in a country like France. And the character is quite French in the sense that she's really happy-go-lucky. It's very unpredictable. Like the character of Fred is very volatile. Even her temper is very volatile as well. And you start to wonder what's going on in her head. The actress Park Ji-min is really good. Is really, really good. Also the actors that play her father. It's an interesting movie to see. Also the nuances, the ideas of identity. I want to watch it again also with my Korean friends, and also looking forward to speak to David Shaw about this movie, what inspired him as well. I recommend it. Also, it has a very interesting ending as well. I was quite like, okay, that's how it ends.
Is it Franco?
That's it. That's all I can say. I can say it's recommended. I have to watch it again because I'm still like. How shall I say? Oh, this is the sequence. That's the bar. I can tell you, I've been sitting. I sat over here, and the DJ was actually surprised by the request I made because it was an old Korean band.
Nice. All right, I'm looking forward to watching it. Probably going to watch it on Friday. I have a date set with Tristian. Friday evening to watch this movie.
I want to watch it. I want to watch it again because it's so. I was very surprised by how observant David Shaw was. The story is inspired by a friend of his as well, and I forgot her name, but it's really interesting. It's very, very interesting. Especially, I think mostly I was really the moment where there was very emotion was when she meets her father, and like how it's I could see her having a combination of resentment, sorrow, but at the same time wanting to love but not being capable to love this stranger who happens to be her father, so to speak.
Interesting. I'm looking forward to watching it a lot. It looks beautifully shot. So really beautifully shot.
Very beautifully shot. Again, Korea just lends itself to the.
And I was gonna say the setting.
Beauty.
It's perfect.
I mean, when they go next to the sea, it's amazing. Food also makes an appearance here, but food is an essential part of Korea, basically. Even noticing those little nuances of pouring the drink to your guest, and also how like there was a moment where it's like her auntie basically puts kimchi on her spoon, and it's a very common cultural humor to do so. It's a way to show that you care for the other person as well.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a rating for it, Franco, or do you want to watch it again first?
I think the rating on IMDb is good. I think 7.1 on 10 is very good.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Very apt.
Good. So that is Return to Seoul. Next up, I think I can do the quick review for Redfall before we get into Guardians. Get this out of the way. So Redfall As you're gonna notice once I bring up Steam, the reactions to it have been quite negative, very negative reactions to it. The developer is Arcane Austin and published by Bethesda Softworks. Now Arcane have made some of my favorite games, honestly. Arcane are great developers. Prey is one of my all-time favorite
Prey
games.
is fantastic, yeah.
I haven't played Deathloop.
No.
They made Wolfenstein. Wolfenstein Youngblood. I haven't
Youngblood,
played.
yeah.
I played all the other Wolfensteins.
Dishonored, of course.
And Dishonored, of course. The first Dishonored was one of those games where it's like, oh my god, this is so good.
Yeah.
And even Dishonored 2 was very good as well. Even Dishonored 2 was very good. So they've made, but Prey was such a beautiful game. And then they make Redfall. Now, Redfall, I'm going to be honest with you, it's not an awful game, because some of the reactions to it have been a bit exaggerated. I know, obviously, there's the whole Xbox versus PlayStation, so a lot of PlayStation fans have been, overtly criticizing it, but like almost exaggerating. Listen, it's not a great game either. It's not a good game. It's a bad game. There are some saving elements. Let me take it step by step. So, let me start off by the visuals. Visually, the game has some interesting stuff. Sometimes the use of color is decent, but overall, I think after playing Prey, and then playing this game, it's just like you wouldn't believe it's the same studio, to be honest with you. Because Prey just looks so beautiful all the time, and there are moments where it looks really bland. The character design, the world is really bland. The world is really bland. Like everything looks like this. Everything looks like this. Like everywhere you go, Redfall is always the same. Everything looks the same. So visually, it's not great. It looks old. I'm gonna be honest with you. It doesn't look AAA quality at all. It looks like it should have come out 15 years ago, honestly. Now, let me move on to something a bit more positive. The gameplay. Some of the gunplay is actually quite good. Now, unfortunately, what hurts that is that there aren't any interesting set pieces. So like these kinds of games, like something like Dishonored, for example, puts you into beautiful set pieces with 1,000 different ways to approach them. Right? You can take the stealthy approach. You can use your power. Now, for example, here, they're using their powers. Great. There are powers you can use. But stealth it feels like they just added stealth at the end of development. You know what the stealth animation is when you go to kill someone? It's the same melee you do every time, but you just kill your enemy. There isn't even like an animation where you go from behind and like kill them. You just like do the animation, boom, hit with your gun, and they die. And that's it. Like this feels super, I'm not going to say lazy, but I don't know what happened. I'm not behind the scenes. I don't know if it was rushed. I don't know if it was incompetence.
I think he admitted to it being rushed out. One of the main developers, head developer, if I'm not mistaken.
The head of Microsoft, I think. I think it was the head of Microsoft who said that.
Yes. And to be honest, though, even the enemy mechanics are
Phil Spencer
are awful. It's like I saw Charlie's Moist Critical's review of it. Florida Jesus, basically.
Florida Jesus. Well, Ara, let me conclude this. Overall, I've been seeing a lot of people complaining about bugs. I'll be honest, I did not have any issues with bugs and so on. Honestly, I've saw a lot of people showing scenes with vampires like glitching and getting stuck. I never faced those problems. Now, I played it on the hardest difficulty. Now, I play a lot of games. I play a lot of first-person shooters on PC. So I know what I'm doing. I play a lot of like competitive Call of Duty and so on. So I know what I'm doing. But the game felt really easy. Like I was dispatching everyone with ease. Like everything felt easy. So the game needs to become much, much harder. The vampires, they kind of float towards you and you're like shooting at them. And whenever they get close, you just like run away, turn and shoot, headshot, and they're dead. And that's it. And then you kill them with a stick. So positive is basically some of the gunplay. The rest is either average or negative. Oh, the last thing I wanted to mention before I end this review are the cutscenes. There are no cutscenes. The cutscenes are like this.
Yeah.
This is cutscenes. There are no, like, you don't see characters moving around, talking. That's the cutscene. No,
slideshows,
basically, exactly. Actually, some of the atmospheric stuff is actually really well done. There was a particular sequence when you go into this scientist's house. He's the guy who started the whole vampire kind of pandemic. When you go into his house and you start to discover the process through which he went, starting all of this, and that was really well done. There was a lot of very good atmospheric stuff. Unfortunately, it's meant to make it feel kind of like horror-ish in a way, like kind of scary, but you're never scared because it's all so easy. It's like there's no difficulty. You just take out the gun, boom, headshot, they're dead. That's it. Like there was no difficulty at all. So it could never be hard. The atmospheric stuff and the kind of like visual world building was okay in that part. But the rest, very, very, very bland. Very bland world design, very bland gameplay, very bland everything, basically. Very bland soundtrack, man. Joe, have you played Prey by any chance?
I have played Prey. I like Prey and I like Dishonored even more.
What do you think about the soundtrack of Prey?
It's fantastic.
It's so good. The soundtrack here
atmospheric.
Is awful. It's so bad. It's the same song played over and over again. Dum, 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 dum. And then every time it's played, everywhere you go, it's played. Just like with a slight horror-ish touch, maybe with a slight more upbeat touch. It's always the same theme played over and over again. It's clearly underdone. Like seriously underdone. Like it's not awful. I actually had some fun moments playing it because I played through the whole thing. So I did play through the whole thing. I finished the story, and I wouldn't have continued playing it if there weren't some fun things going. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. It's not great either. Franco, you're going to say something about Charlie?
No. He said basically that especially when he was playing it and was waiting for the enemy to come around and kill him, basically. But it was very easy, like you said, very, very easy, especially on the hardest level.
Mm-hmm. Very easy, very generic looter shooter.
$70, Madonna. This
I
is not
got
a
it on Xbox Game Pass, which is why maybe I'm a bit more positive than other people, because these people have paid $70 to play this game. The people who reviewed it here. I got it on Xbox Game Pass for PC.
At the same time, then you're an idiot to pay $70 when you could have watched some fucking reviewer saying, Madonna, it costs. Sorry.
But
I mean, this guy, like, why? If is it possible that nobody watches reviews anymore before they buy stuff?
This review is very good. Redfall is an art of everything that goes wrong in game design. Redfall is a sign of how anti-consumer and fun recent games have been. Redfall isn't worth it, not even free. Your time is precious and it's worth more than this chunk. He's kind of like saying this to me. I didn't get it for free, but I mean, I would have paid for Xbox Game Pass for PC anyways, even if Redfall didn't come out. So, for what it's worth, it was free.
I'm not their beta tester.
So good.
So to the listeners, we're actually looking at the reviews of Redfall on Steam, and one of the reviews said, "I'm not your beta tester."
Yeah. So yes, not great, but these people are right to be super negative. Like I tried not to be super negative. Again, I got it pretty much for free for what it's worth. And I had an okay time playing it. You know what could make this game a bit more fun? Playing it with friends. But to be fair, anytime you're playing with friends, even if it's awful, you're going to have a laugh here and there. But I think that would make it a bit better. playing with 3 more friends. I played it on my own because obviously no one wants to play Redfall. I'm not going to force anyone to play Redfall. And
So basically, you've become me, Andrea. No friends.
no, just no friends who play bad games. Okay, so that is Redfall. To conclude, the big one. Because
To conclude with the conclusion of Guardians of the Galaxy.
to conclude, exactly, and to conclude James Gunn's time with the MCU, with Marvel. Joe, you were the first one to watch it.
I was.
Guardians
I
of
was,
the Galaxy
yes.
Volume 3. Tell us,
The
what do you think?
the resident MCU hater.
Yes.
Watching Marvel. Why?
Yes.
Explain to us why.
Because when I took that solemn oath of I will not pay to see these films in theaters anymore, I did have exceptions to the rule. James Gunn is a director that I love. I love his pulpiness. I love that his films are always, they're sentimental to an almost sappy extent, but it's genuine sappiness, which I can get behind because they're simple themes. I like that he focuses on freaks that come together and they find each other as family, which is exactly what he did with the first Guardians movie. So this is, and I admit it happily, the first film I have walked into a theater since Endgame, and I paid money for at a theater to watch this film. I do want to take a step back on James Gunn as a person. Can we just acknowledge the fucking absolute power play from this man? Because when this film was announced all those years ago, first he gets fired by Disney for jokes he made on Twitter about 10 years ago, which is ridiculous.
Joe, do you remember what those jokes were about, by the way? Because a friend of mine asked me.
I believe
I forgot.
they were quite in bad taste and they had homophobic and misogynist undertones, but they were also very clearly jokes. Now, I know it's hard to joke on the internet, and I know that not all jokes are okay because they hurt people's feelings, but it also happened 10 fucking years ago, okay? Where you have to admit that people can grow and they can grow up, and he came out and apologized for those jokes, and it should end there. You know why? Because no one died, and sticks and stones is never irrelevant, okay? That's what we need to remember as a society. If you're offended by a joke, you have all the right to be offended by a joke, but that person who said the joke also has the right to say, sorry to you, my bad, I'll think about it more next time, and then you know what? We should just go on from there. But back to the stuff from the film. So yeah, James Gunn gets fired by Disney for jokes made on Twitter many years before. Then the cast say, if Gunn isn't doing it, we're fucking not doing it. They then rehire, he then goes and makes the best so far DC Extended Universe film in the Suicide Squad. And then he gets rehired by Disney because they see the success with that and the reception to that. And that now he's made this final film for the Guardians, and now he's jumped ship to Marvel's biggest competitor, which is DC, and he's running the show over there and about to make a Superman movie. So more power to you, more power to the writers, more power to the creators out there, and especially ones like James Gunn. I'm going to come right out of the gates with this, guys, and this is going to be I'm going to come here with the cannonball, the hammer blow, okay? This is my favorite MCU film to date. Do you know why? Because this
wow, that's a statement.
This is the very, and it's not perfect by any means. I have quite a few issues with how things are wrapped up at the end, but this is the closest thing to a director in this line of work with this company being Disney and Marvel having, I would say, 98% control over everything they wanted to do in this film, from the writing to the direction to the design to the soundtrack to everything. Because, and this isn't really a spoiler, this film does not give a single fuck about the wider MCU, and that is the best thing about it. This is a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and that is what it needs to be. And even just like from the opening scene, because I was like nervous going into this because I'd seen all the reviews. It's got a fucking 4.2 out of 5 on Letterboxd, which for a Marvel film is like borderline unheard of.
Yep.
In that sphere of people reviewing films. And I took my girlfriend with me. The last film she saw of Marvel in general was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 because she likes these characters and she likes the Guardians films because they're not as sewn into the MCU as the others are, apart from the first one. The first one because it has the Infinity Stone and stuff like that. But I was nervous going in because I'm like, is it going to actually be good? Because people are saying like it's really James Gunn and stuff like that. But from the first frame and the opening of the film, it's just different. It feels like there is control of a creative behind it. And this feeds back to our thing about writers and why we need them. The reason why this film sets itself apart from the rest of the MCU is because the person in charge is a fucking writer and storyteller who likes exploring themes, who has his own sense of humor, and who has focused on these characters and building their relationships to each other. Now, he kind of wins me over in this because it is, I'm not going to say it's a spoiler of any kind, but he focuses on my favorite character of the Guardians, which is Rocket Raccoon. The first two movies are Peter Quill's movie. This is Rocket's movie. And like, genuinely, there was a point in this film where it got me. I cried in this film at a very emotional moment. And I'm sitting there going, why the fuck am I crying in an MCU movie? Like, I'm meant to be the hater of all this. But it's as I said, it's that James Gunn, it's that sappiness in the emotion, which he taps into in the Suicide Squad. He taps into in the previous two Guardians films. He taps into in Peacemaker. But this human emotion is sappy, guys. We fall for silly shit. And it can be seen as silly in this, but it's just so human at the same time, at the way you can relate to it. And like my girlfriend in particular in this film, for reasons I won't spoil, she was an inconsolable mess at certain points. But then, and she's not one for these big action films, there was a particular action scene involving a hallway, which Andrea will know from it. First of all, the fucking needle drop that he does in that, I was already in. But
I started singing.
Exactly, the one-er that he does in this hallway. There's definitely CGI, but one thing that I love that he does is that the human characters are not CGI in these action scenes. They're actually moving. You can see that it's Chris Pratt and it's Karen Gillan and it's Zoe Saldana and it's Dave Bautista actually as their characters moving and doing these stunts around CGI things. But the hallway scene is, in my opinion, one of the best action scenes in a superhero movie to date.
Agreed.
And it like, even just like the flourishes, it is so James Gunn. Like, there's body horror in this film. There's practical sets.
There's a lot of body horror in this.
This film is not suitable for kids.
It's not made for kids.
It is when basically in the UK, when you see a film, it comes up with like a disclaimer from like the British Film Board with the name of the film and the official rating of the film. And this was a 12A, and that surprised me when I saw 12A in the cinema, because I'm like, 12A. Usually these films are a hard PG-13 or a Universal. This is a hard 12A. If there was a little bit of blood, it would take it straight up to 16.
I don't know how they got it through. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, so this is like, with the first two Guardians films, I'm actually excited now that my niece and nephew have like more sentience than of like little babies. One of them is 7 and one of them is going to be 4. I want to show them the first two Guardians films because I really like those films. But I'm not showing them.
No. Joe,
absolutely not.
Open the fucking door.
Yes, the F bomb. It's not a spoiler because it was in the press before that they fought hard for an F bomb in this film.
I loved so much.
I was like, where are they going to put it? And it was the most relatable F bomb I've ever seen in my life. But
so much in that scene. I was crying laughing in that scene.
I've gone on a rant. It also as well. What really won me over, and actually it was, because I started crying in an earlier scene in the film, probably like midway through the second act. But the ending, what he does with the montage, and especially the music at the end, I was like close to like getting up and like nearly dancing with the needle drop he decided to choose. Such a good fucking choice for the ending of this film. But as I was saying, like that action scene to my girlfriend at one point, and the full context with her, right? She had just finished night shifts before she came onto this film. She had 4 nights of staying up all night and sleeping during the day. So we went to see it on a Friday. She worked all night on Thursday, slept for 3 hours on the Friday afternoon, and came to watch this film with me at 10 p.m. at night. And she's a notorious sleeper in films. She didn't sleep a wink. She cried her eyes out. And in that particular action scene, she just put a big thumbs up towards the screen. It's like she was so like overcome from having fun. She was like, this is really good. But no, like, again, this is, if we were doing a top 5 of Marvel, this is genuinely my favorite one, because it had the emotion, it has the director's stamp on it, it has characters that I really like. Like, I was actually thinking to myself over the weekend, I'm like, I want to go watch it again, man. I genuinely like really want to go watch it in the cinema again. It's not perfect. There are issues with how some things are tied up, and it would have taken, the film is really quite long. It's nearly 2 hours and a half. It would have taken a lot longer to tie those things up. I don't really care, because in the grand scheme of things, again, this film doesn't care about the MCU. It's a really, really good end to these characters, and it is one motherfucker of a mic drop from James Gunn. See you, Marvel, I'm off to do my own thing.
Joe, did you see this clip of Florence Welch crying?
I did, and I'm here for it. I saw Florence and the Machine live a couple of months ago, and it was incredible. So the song that they used at the end when they dropped "Dog Days Are Over," I remember my girlfriend grabbed my hand and squeezed it, like to the point like my hand was going numb. Such a good moment in the film. It was really like I was wondering like how are they going to end this film, and then like you hear like the little din 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 coming up. Like I'm like, no, he's not going with this. Really, like, great. For me, it is a solid 4.5 out of 5. The only reason it loses half a star are because it is there are things I would change here and there to do with certain beats. Like I like that as well, that like certain things that you think they're going to do which are really safe, like especially surrounding characters like Peter Quill, he just doesn't do. He doesn't like just fall for these really safe things, and the MCU is going to miss him, because in my opinion he's already the best director working in the MCU, and now
100%.
He's not going to any.
100%.
Is he the best director for superhero movies then?
After this, I'm really curious to see, like even more so, really curious to see what he's going to do with Superman, because again, he's now getting darker with the things he does and leaning much more into the darker side of humanity. So I'm curious to see where he goes with it. The jokes are hilarious in this. I was laughing constantly. I don't know how some people like claim that like the jokes don't land because they just don't have a sense of humor.
I'm gonna be honest. I felt very emotional during a lot of moments, but there were a lot of times where I'm supposed to be laughing and I didn't laugh.
No, I found it really funny.
Or I had 2 issues with this movie. A lot of the jokes didn't land with me. Quite a few, and sometimes it was a bit messy. At times.
Oh, it's definitely messy, and it does devolve eventually into that third act Marvel giant CGI explosion.
And that action sequence with them flying in, I agree with, because I also watched the Red Letter Media review for this, and they loved it, by the way. I don't know if you guys follow Red Letter Media. I love Red Letter Media. But yeah, they loved it, which is a surprise because generally they're very negative when it comes to Marvel. No, they absolutely adore this movie. Whenever they're like a little positive with a Marvel movie, you can tell they actually really liked it. And I agree with them that the action sequence when they were flying in with their ships and there were all those like monsters coming at them, that was
that was
too Marvel-ish.
It did the very Marvel thing, but like. I can forgive that because it's only 5% of the film. Yes. For me, I was just having so much fun. Like even like that weird planet they go to where it's like a hunk of meat, where it's like not actually a planet.
That was like, so interesting. That was very interesting. Like
when they get into the fight scene, and like Mantis, like I always wondered, like how does Mantis use her powers in a fight? And she's just running up to people, touch him, she gets the guy. You're a kitty cat. And he starts meowing like a cat. It's like so stupid, but it's entertaining.
Yeah, agreed.
No, I had a great time.
Yeah, visually, it looks
incredible.
So good. It looks so good.
It's the best looking one in years.
It looks so good. There's something about the camera they used, which made it look so colorful.
But you know what it is as well? The interiors, like when they're not in space, when they're on the ground or when they're inside a ship and stuff
are all
like
real.
That, they're all real sets.
Yes, you could tell as well. You could tell.
And James Gunn, he's got a habit of, if I can put someone in makeup and costume, I'm going to put them in makeup and costume.
And you can tell that as well, because a lot of the like aliens and stuff are all, you could tell they're all in costume. Yeah. You could clearly tell.
And
which is incomplete.
It feels lived in.
Yes, that's it. It feels lived in.
Even where it starts out on nowhere, the planet, like the kind of like town center they have, you can tell that's all physical. Okay, the big parts above it will be added in CGI. But the stuff around the characters is all real. And apart from the fact that they've done a really difficult thing here, where part of their crew are 2 CGI characters in Rocket and Groot.
Yep.
But you don't think that they are at the time because
No.
they've had personality grow over time.
And watching Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania and comparing it like just visually, forget all the story elements on, just visually, in Ant-Man, I was almost felt like characters were floating, like none of it ever
Don't get that
felt
in this.
real, none of it ever looked real. Everything is CGI. And that is something that really ticks me a lot. Here, everything feels real. Everything feels physical. Everything feels like you can touch it and like feel it, which is a big achievement for a movie set in such fantastical places. And the world design is so beautiful. The world design is incredible. Like just the ships, how lived in the ship feels and the whole world feels. It's really well done. It's a really well done movie. What about the performances? Did you like Chris Pratt, Joe?
That was actually one of the biggest surprising things to me because Chris Pratt was someone who I discovered through Parks and Recreation. I liked that show and I loved his character on that show. And I really liked him in the first Guardians. I liked him in the second one. But he was a celebrity where the more I learned about him in his private life, the less I liked him and I struggled to like him in films because for lack of a better term, he seems like a fucking white Republican religious asshole, for lack of a better term. But just in this film, because I thought they were going to do like the full redemption arc for Star-Lord, because he's been the star of these films for so long, but they actually do a really emotional and almost at times pathetic and very cathartic thing for him, which made me really like him. And the performances across everyone are spot on. Dave Bautista as Drax is just a delight every single time. I thought actually stand out this time because I used to find her quite one note as a character.
Nebula?
Nebula, exactly.
Karen Gillan. So good in this. She's
incredible.
She's incredible in this.
And I'm sorry, the work that Bradley Cooper is doing, voice work as Rocket Raccoon, is outstanding. It's a criminally underappreciated role because he's not actually the raccoon, but he was even doing the stuff where they have the flashbacks on Little Rocket and stuff. That was all Bradley Cooper as well.
Yep.
It's
impressive stuff.
I'm not crazy about the villain, but I thought his performance was very effective.
Did like what's his name? He was in Peacemaker. What's the name of the actor?
He's got an African name. I'm not going to try and pronounce it and offend anyone.
Chukwudi.
He's really good. He's really good.
He's very good. What did you like about it, Joe?
Just that I didn't like. The villain is a bit vanilla. That's all it is.
I think he needed to be more than that, though.
He didn't in a way.
He made me hate him.
That's exactly it.
Wanted them to beat him to pieces.
Yeah.
I really hated him.
Yeah, he was really good at coming across as that really tyrannical, terrible piece of shit. He's vanilla in the sense of he's really evil person that thinks he's got a perfect image of something and that's why he wants to dominate the universe. It's more original in the fact that he wants to create rather than he wants to take over.
Yes. And he says that at one point as well.
Yeah.
When Peter Quill was like, oh, spare me the whole monologue of how he wants to destroy the world. It's like, I want to destroy the world. I want to create perfection. Something like that, obviously. I'm paraphrasing.
But no, the performance is fantastic. And he's turning it up to 11 almost every other scene. It's really convincing.
He's a really good actor, Sacha Kuriuji. He's a very, very good actor. Very good. I'd love to see him in these villain roles again. And did you notice the Among Us reference?
Yes, I did. I absolutely did. It was quite hard to avoid. So I really liked seeing Nathan Fillion turn up for a small role as well.
Yes.
It was a lot of it was Gunn just bringing in friends of his that he gets into all his projects as well, which again, that's what you need, man. You need these people that have these connections and these creativities, and
there's
working
his brother,
with these people.
His wife.
I was going to say, Jennifer Holland has a small role in this as well.
Yeah.
But no, I was I was actually pretty blown away by the film. I left the theater with a giant smile on my face, thinking you could start that film up again right now, and I'd watch the entire thing all over again. I was so surprised, and I have, because I do subscribe to Disney Plus. Every film that has come to Disney Plus from Marvel, I have gone and go, let me see what this is like. Would this have been worth seeing in the cinema? And so far, every single one I've watched, I've gone, absolutely fucking not. It wouldn't have been worth me spending the money to go and watch that. Every single one. Like, even people like say, they go, oh no, but Spider-Man No Way Home is so good. No, Spider-Man No Way Home is Far From Home and whatever the fuck the second one was called again.
Homecoming.
It's just different. It's different because it's a multiverse one, and
I liked the first Spider-Man. The second one was okay in my opinion. The third one, meh. I was quite meh about the third one.
it's just
I didn't understand all the hype behind it.
It's weaponized nostalgia baiting.
Yeah,
the third one.
agreed.
But
I love the
glad.
Sam Raimi Spider-Man. I adore those.
Yeah,
So it should really have worked for me, but as I said,
all I can say is I'm glad I broke the oath when I did. I won't be going back to a Marvel movie anytime soon, unless James Gunn is involved, which he's not going to be. So
to be honest with you, Joe, because I was thinking about like the big directors that the MCU still has. The only I think other like auteurish director we have here is Ryan Coogler.
Yeah, to be fair,
He's a very good director as well.
I thought Wakanda Forever was like just fine, but I also wasn't crazy about the original Black Panther as well. That was also another one where I was like, this was a bit overhyped. It's just pretty good.
Joe, who do you think would be a good heir to James Gunn for the MCU? Do you think?
Good
I
question.
was gonna mention time passing Taika Waititi, who had the potential,
He did, yes.
but had the potential, especially with Ragnarok, but it all went to shit with
Love and Thunder, yeah.
Love and
I
Thunder.
really didn't like Love and Thunder. I really
Lord.
did. I'd watched Love and Thunder in 3 different installments. Like, it was that bad.
It was really bad. Really bad.
I'm gonna give you the highbrow snobby reply on this, and I don't want a James Gunn successor to go and waste their time at a company that's not going to give them the freedom to do it. I hope that James Gunn is going to stick to what he said with DC and said he wants to bring power to the writers and let them do their own thing, which I think he will do because that's what he does. Yeah, I'm actually sick of the trend that Marvel has done for so long, of a small indie director has like a really good independent film, which is like quite small, and it's a nice little drama, and then they just throw a big fucking IP at them. They did it to Chloe Zhao. They did it to I forgot the names of it was a duo.
Benson and Moorhead. Benson and
Moorhead have fallen victim to it. They did it to the guys who did Captain Marvel as well. They had done a small independent film. They keep finding yes, these people can be capable of making a film. In fact, controversial opinion, I didn't think Eternals was that bad.
I thought it was like Eternals Madonna.
I thought Eternals was a mess narratively, but I thought stylistically and what it was going for was really interesting.
Because some of the visual stuff was good. I'll give you that.
At least it had Chloe Zhao's visual style in it.
But that's all it had, to be honest.
Yes,
the visual stuff.
And the story was a mess.
And for people who suffer from megalophobia, especially seeing one of the Eternal himself, like looking down at Earth, that was really.
I mean, the Eternals basically don't exist anymore. To this point, Marvel has not made any effort to try and include them in anything.
It was a big flop.
I don't even think we're gonna see like the character that Harry Styles played come into it anytime soon.
No.
I don't think now, especially now with the Jonathan Majors stuff happening, and now the writers' strikes. I kind of think they're a bit fucked at the moment, to be completely honest.
They'll just they'll just recast the character. But
it's with the writers' strikes as well. Like they've got to recast a character amid great like allegations. And now they've got these writer strikes, and it's already extremely directionless, the MCU, from what I've watched so far. And this film, and I love it even more for it, doesn't do them any favors.
True. Rating, Joe?
It's a solid 4.5 out of 5.
I agree. Yeah, I gave it 4.5 as well on Letterboxd. All right, guys. I think we can conclude here with our review for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I think basically that's pretty much all we had to say, right, Joe?
Yeah. I try to avoid spoilers as much as possible because I didn't know the plot going into the film, and I don't think anyone else should either.
Better that way. Franco, you looking forward to watching it?
Oh no, of course. I mean, I think it's a good solo date movie now as well. So we'll see.
All right, guys, let's conclude it here, Melon. Thank you to our viewers and listeners. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, download if you're on Spotify, heart it if you're on Spotify. If you're on YouTube, as always, like if you haven't already. What are you waiting for? Subscribe. Leave us a comment. Your thoughts about any of the movies we've talked about. Have you watched Return to Seoul? Have you played Redfall? Please tell me you haven't. And have you watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3? And if you have not, do you think you will be watching it in the future? That's pretty much all there is.
Most importantly, have any of you listeners and viewers watched The Empty Man?
Yes. It's 22 episodes, Andrea.
22 episodes, Andrea. We're gonna hound you until your deathbed. Imagine holding the microphone on our deathbeds. Have you watched The Empty Man, Andrea?
No. I still have to finish the last episode of Queen Charlotte in the Bridgerton world.
Then you need to start Barry, and then you need to start The White Lotus.
Next up is White Lotus with my girlfriend. But
I still think it should be Barry.
How many seasons are Barry? How many episodes each season?
There are 8 episodes per season of roughly 25 minutes each episode, so they're short as fuck. You have no excuse.
They're short.
And it is on its 4th and final season. If you wanted to, you could start it today, and you could be up to date by next week's episode.
So,
no, you've got to, because they're short episodes.
25 minutes, 8 minutes, 25 times.
Some episodes are a little bit longer. Like you'll find some which are like 35. I believe the finale of each season is like a standard 40-minute episode.
Okay, so but if on average it makes, so it's like you have almost. I'm seeing 4-hour movies. Yeah, it's like 2 hours, 2 hours. I think it's good like to watch them that way, like a 2-hour movie.
I still think I'll watch White Lotus first, though. White Lotus looks right up my alley. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Again, I am the White Lotus fan on this podcast. I think that's great, but I still think it should be Barry. You got, like, especially like Franco, especially you as someone who loves directors. And like you love writers, Barry is the one. Like I can't stress it enough. It's incredible.
I think I'll watch Barry on my own and White Lotus with my girlfriend probably. That's how it'll work.
I mean,
probably.
there's a lot probably for your girlfriend to like in Barry. Like my girlfriend likes Barry. She's in fact she's sat and seen me watch a couple of the episodes in this season. She's someone who doesn't care about spoilers, so it's fine for her. But she's seen me watch episodes of this. She's like, this looks really good. I'm going to go and start it by myself. And so far, she's really enjoyed it.
Okay.
So this is my next Andor. So I shouldn't leave it any longer.
Okay, so you'll get back to us in 12 weeks then.
Yeah. No.
Well, no, you'll binge the first 3 seasons. You'll watch 1 episode of season 4, and then you'll get back to me in 12 weeks.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Unless I get kidnapped again by Wes Anderson, but
no. All right, guys. Let's end it here because I have to go sleep. I have to wake up early tomorrow to train. Thank you, as always, for our viewers and listeners. Thank you, Franco. Thank you, Joe. As always.
Thank you, Andrea.
My pleasure. And peace out. Ciao, guys. Have a good one.